we touch, we shift. And everything we shift, we try to make better, and uniquely Nissan. You may recognize these as the words of Carlos Ghosn, the CEO of the Nissan Corporation. The sentiment expressed in this quote, and in the shift tagline adopted in 2002, is one of perpetual advancement and forward thinking. But the current ad campaign for the Nissan Pathfinder doesn't really express this. Instead, it reveals a deep uncertainty about who the target audience is and what you, the car company, want to get across to them. My name is Sarah Scharf, and I'm an account manager at JWT Advertising. I'm here today in order to reveal my new campaign to you. Last time I was here, I hope I was able to convince you of the immediate need to revitalize the way that you reach out to the female demographic. Today, I hope to do a couple of things with my presentation. Firstly, I'm going to give you some background information about the SUV market. Secondly, I'm going to look back at the current campaign and highlight some of the problems one last time. I'm going to then reveal the new campaign to you and show you how it effectively targets two target audiences. Firstly, the young female professionals and the carpool moms. So let's look at some background about what the Nissan Pathfinder means to the Nissan brand as a whole. The Pathfinder was introduced in 1985, and back then it had 7 competitors. Today it has 38. In this increasingly competitive and declining market for SUVs, you've staked a lot on the success of the Pathfinder. In 2000, it was the centerpiece of a $2.4 billion platform redesign. So how is Nissan doing in the current marketplace? Unfortunately, not very well. Last year, sales of Nissan trucks and SUVs fell 8.4%. Sales of the Nissan Pathfinder fell 39%. And while your Japanese competitor, Toyota, has just surpassed the American megalith Ford in sales, Nissan's fallen from 4th to 6th, and now only controls 6.7% of the market share. But I believe that there are things that Nissan's doing right in this current ad campaign. You guys have effectively allocated your advertising budget across a bunch of media sources that target women. Nissan recognizes that targeting women is an essential strategy for car companies. Out of 10 new SUVs bought this year, 4 will be bought by a woman. Out of 10 new cars bought this year, 8 buying decisions will be influenced by a woman. Clearly, you guys have the right idea, but the poor execution of the campaign kind of renders it ineffective. So let's look one last time at the current failures. As I've outlined last time I was here, the current failures of the ad include that the images are uninteresting, the headline's ineffective, and most importantly, there's no single unified message. Looking a little bit closer at these problems, we see that the main image is bland and monochromatic, and the supporting image doesn't really do anything to distinguish the Nissan Pathfinder from any other SUV on the market. The headline and the supporting text is confusing, disjointed, and overly wordy. Looking at the message, we see that the discontinuity between the text and the image confuses the viewer and doesn't really leave them taking away anything. The ad makes vague generalities about what women want and assumes that all women are similar in their buying practices. But this brings me to the issue of audience. We know that all women aren't similar in their buying practices. Women need different things depending on the age bracket they're in. And this leads me to target 2 groups of women, not just one. The young female professionals and the carpool moms. Let's look first at the needs of the young female professionals. These are women in their 20s and 30s who are still in touch with popular culture, but are moving more and more into the realm of adulthood. These women are a strong audience for the Pathfinder because they're going through a lot of life changes and they need a car that's versatile. They need a car that's going to follow them from the city to the suburbs, which I believe the Pathfinder can do. So how do we hook these women? Firstly, we make the Pathfinder something they desire, not something they feel they need. These women want a car that appeals to their sense of luxury and glamour. And in influencing an ad for these women, I looked at a lot of fashion ads targeting them and realized that one thing that appeals to them is the promotion of a lifestyle. They don't want to just buy a product, they want to buy a lifestyle. So here's the ad I created for these women. You can see that the layout is kind of minimalist and more edgy than the old one. The main image is a high-heeled shoe overlaid with the image of the Nissan Pathfinder. I think that this is going to be a good visual hook for the audience, and I think that the juxtaposition of the car and the shoe is really interesting and kind of neat. The eye is going to follow down the page from the top left corner to the bottom right corner where the logo is, and vectors point to the logo. Secondly, I replaced the headline so that it reads now, "More storage room means never having to say no to the perfect pair." I think that this is a cute headline for the car because it highlights a practical feature of the Pathfinder, the storage room, but it does it in a way that's kind of fun and appealing. Looking at the message, we can see that there's no disjointed message anymore. The text at the bottom of the page directly relates to the text at the top of the page and the image, and the text at the bottom is an invitation to women to go online and research the Pathfinder and customize one to fit their own lifestyle. I decided to keep the shift tagline because I feel that it really reflects the Nissan's brand's ethos, and it does a really good job of being attributed to the company already. In this case, I decided to use shift expectations because we want women to see that this car isn't just another midsize SUV, it's a lifestyle. The Nissan Pathfinder is a lifestyle. So now, let's look at the carpool mom, the second demographic. We can see that these women are over 30 with families, pets, and a lot of responsibilities. They're notoriously hard to target. 91% of these women feel advertisers don't understand their needs. And instead of a lifestyle, these women need facts and hard information. So to target them, I think we need more text that concretely dramatizes the difference between the Pathfinder and other SUVs. 90% of these women research online before going to the dealership. So we need to make sure that the website is prominently displayed and that once they get on the website, it's easily accessible to them. Finally, we can't sacrifice visual appeal just because we're trying to relay more information. Here's the ad I made for them. As you can see, the layout's less edgy than the previous ad, but there are features such as the use of the font and the use of the overlaid images that are consistent in both, which kind of link them into a coherent campaign. I think that the use of the overlaid images is an interesting and creative way to show the roominess, which is a feature of the Pathfinder that's also emphasized in the small text. I replaced the headline with two separate phrases, Friday practice and Saturday retreat. And they're vectors that lead the eye from top to bottom down the page, highlighting the logo, and also, most importantly, the website is bolded and set apart from the text so that women, even if scanning the page, can pick that up and visit it later. I think the issue of message is resolved in this ad. Women are going to be turned on by this ad because they like that it takes into account the needs of their families and also their own need for relaxation and leisure. I think that Nissan's in a really unique position right now to establish itself at the forefront of the market for female SUVs. You've already invested a lot of money to make sure that your tools for market analysis are cutting edge. And the Pathfinder's just been redesigned to appeal to a broad range of women. So now it's time to launch a Revitalize campaign that's going to target both the carpool mom and the young female professional individually. Once women have researched and created a short list of car options, it's nearly impossible to get them to consider another option. So if the Nissan advertising can't grab the attention of women at the very beginning of their car search, sales in this demographic are going to decline. By reaching out to women, by creating advertising that's better and uniquely Nissan, I believe we can really shift the expectations of the female consumers so long neglected or misrepresented by the automotive industry. Thank you.